Oklahoma Republican Senator James Inhofe. Senator, thanks for joining us. A litany of issues on the table here in Washington, D.C. Feels like the greatest urgency, even expressed during that meeting by President Trump, was getting a deal on DACA. How close are you?
Well, we don't know. It's on the floor right now, and they're working on it, and there's not a timetable on it.
Well, it feels like there's a timetable. There's a March 5th deadline. It's been extended a couple of times.
No, there is, and yes. What I'm saying is it's on the floor right now, and they are working on it now. So
with respect to that, it feels like when President Trump made his last offer, it was the ultimate olive branch for a lot of folks. In fact, even a lot of his core voters were shocked at all the things that he put on the table. 1.8 million, a path to citizenship for the DACA recipients in return for some of the things that he campaigned on. Where do you see the main pushback coming from your colleagues on the other side of the aisle?
Well, on the other side of the aisle, there should be no pushback, and I'm surprised that there is, because when I first heard it, when he first came out with it, it surprised me. You know, a path to citizenship, there are specific things there where they actually lost a lot of conservatives. But he should have, I can't imagine the other side of the aisle objecting to what he came out with.
Apparently, the wall is no longer the big thing that the Democrats are upset with. In fact, a lot of them are saying, hey, I'll actually help you build the wall if we can get DACA done. But now it's been chain migration. And I keep forgetting, but I know there's a politically correct way of saying it. Maybe I'll pick up on it at some point. But you know, President Trump, of course, pointing to chain migration and its role in recent terror incidents in this country, and the fact that we lose a grip on the ability to be able to know who's coming into this country with the way it's set up right now. Is there a possibility that that will not be in the final version?
Well, yeah, there's a possibility because, of course, that's just opening the door. The definition of chain liability is not all that specific. It means that anyone can fit into that category. And frankly, I think the president did a good job of throwing some of the hysteria in there. And let's wait and see what happens on that.
Senator, this lengthy meeting is about a 50-minute meeting on camera. These are the ones, by the way, to be quite frank with you, I, as an American, appreciate, because we saw significant pushback against President Trump on a variety of issues from both sides of the aisle. But there seemed to be almost more of a kumbaya kind of feeling with infrastructure. Senator Wyden saying that he would be willing to cut a deal. And at the end of the meeting, President Trump wrapped it up saying that it was a natural. Is it a natural, and can we get something done?
Yeah, we can, Charles. You know, you're asking the right person, because we had the MAP 21, we had 4 of them before that, and of course we had the FAST Act, and we got it done. We did it. And my Democrat counterpart was Barbara Boxer, a very liberal Democrat. I'm a very conservative Republican, and we accomplished some things that other people couldn't accomplish. Now, the president is going about it the right way. I think what he's recognizing that there are things bogged down in the bureaucracy, where that permitting reform. Now, permitting reform is something that people drag their feet on, and it's not necessary at all. Construction time, you know, for each additional year it takes, that increases about 3%. But the thing is, we are getting it done. I hope people don't lose sight of the fact, and don't forget that when President Obama first became president, his request, and he had the House and the Senate and the White House, his first request was to have over $800 billion thrown out there for infrastructure. Well, he ended up getting $836 billion. But you know what percentage of that actually went to infrastructure? 5%. It all went to his environmental agenda, and we know what happened there. This is going to go to infrastructure. Very specifically, the president talks about $200 billion, and then it's broken down. Incentives for states to do things. That's half of that $200 billion. Then he talks about the rural programs that always seem to be left out. So he's covering everything, and I think he's doing a great job of it. And I'm looking forward to meeting with him tomorrow in the White House.
Senator James Inhofe, thank you very much for your expertise and your efforts in this area. We appreciate it. Thanks.
You're very welcome.
All right.